All right, welcome back to the Sci-Fi Project, part 17 of the Sci Fi Case project. So here I am, and this is where we left off last time, where we kind of created this T-bar sort of brace here with the cylinder. And what I realized after looking at the reference was that actually this T actually has this separate piece here, which I'm kind of outlining here, and it includes a little loop here. And that's what I kind of did as a block here, but what I didn't realize is I actually have to take off piece of this and unite it to this and merge those as one piece. And so that's kind of what I did here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of move these out of the way temporarily, just so you can see the final version, and then we'll go back to it. Here it is. So you can see here what I've done is I've separated out this piece and cut it off completely, and then I essentially added a new box and basically welded it together with the other kind of piece and added some, a little bit more details. I added a little cylinder here in between where this thing kind of spins. So the idea here is that this would rotate up as you lift the lever, and so you have to keep all the faces underneath. So there can't be any opening, and you can see here I actually completed this surface here, and I actually blocked out the geometry just temporarily to what it might look like, as basic shapes basically here. And so all these pieces here would kind of follow this as this is being rotated out. So it'd be like a second lever. So the first lever is like this, so you lift this up, and then this one lifts up as again, all these are sort of parented to this that would rotate out, and then that would open up the center here. Now I never created it where the center actually opened, so nothing's gonna happen there, but I could, it wouldn't take much to separate this in the center line here and kind of separate out. It would require some modeling on the inside is all. But yeah, I just wanted to have it kind of the possibility of functionality. You don't always have to do this. You can suggest things without actually having it real, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to go there with that. So let's go ahead and turn these off temporarily, and what we're going to do is go back to where we were. Again, zero out this guy and zero out this guy. Again, this is just a simple cube I kind of brought in and dropped it down here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this object here, and I'll hit number 1 on it, and I'm going to isolate it. Click on the little arrow here, and what I want to do is essentially cut it from here. And the reason why is because, again, even though I'm going to create new geometry for this, we have to cut it about here anyways. So what I'm going to do is double click on this edge loop here, and then hit R and scale it in the Y direction until it's completely flat, just so I have a nice clean line there. And then I move that up. I'll kind of unisolate everything to kind of see. Yeah, something like that might be good. And then go back to object mode, select the object, isolate again. And so I will go to face mode this time and just drag across these faces here at the bottom, making sure that I don't have any other ones. I can hit number 4 to double check, and hit number 5 to go back to shaded solid. So that's under edit mesh, and it's the extract command. The extract command basically separates this as 2 separate pieces, really cuts it in half kind of. And so now I can grab this piece and let me center the pivot on it, and I can literally throw it away afterwards. So the first thing I'll do here is kind of seal off this, and then I will start the construction of this guy here. So let's take a look at this one first. This is the easier one to kind of take a look at. Actually, let me isolate this one now. There we go. And so what I want to do is, I think to start with, just to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to delete half this mesh, and yeah, just select half of it and delete it. That way I only have to work on 50%, which is kind of cool. And so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to delete some of these edge loops and I'll bring back some of these later on, but just to make things a little easier, I'm going to delete some of these. So I'm going to double click on that guy and hit Control Delete, and double click on that guy, Control Delete, and this guy here, Control Backspace or Delete. And so that kind of cleans up pretty good at this point. I could take away a few more, but actually this one will bridge across pretty easy here. So now I can click this edge and this edge by holding the Shift key and bridge across. So the bridge command here, and just keep it at one division. And that's under Edit Mesh, and there it is, Bridge. So now I do have some edge loops at the top here that I'm probably going to want to get rid of, so I'll double click on that one and double click on that one. Again, I'm hitting Control Delete each time, or Backspace, just so I get rid of all the verts. There's no extra verts in here. Now this guy, I could just select the one edge and fill hole command, which is this guy right here, which I think is under Edit Mesh also. Let's see. Maybe it's under Mesh Tools. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to find out where these are at. It's under Mesh. So there it is, fill hole. Sometimes it's really weird just to kind of think about where is that thing, you know, that I need to try out. Okay, so now I can select this face, or this edge, sorry, and this edge, again holding Shift, and then bridge those two across. So now I've got that kind of sealed. And then I want to bridge across here, so I'm going to add an edge loop along here and get it kind of lined up there. So I'm going to double click on the Insert Edge Loop tool, make sure relative distance is selected, and then I can just click and drag here like so, and then click out with the arrow. And then to make sure this is in the correct spot, with W, as I move this, I can hold the V key and kind of snap to this edge right here, and it should line up exactly in the correct spot. And so now I just select this edge, and again I could bridge across here. So the only problem with that is it's going to create some issues right in here. You can see there's a little area here where I have to have another extrusion from the top. So what I could do is, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do it first. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll bridge these two across like so. But then I have to add an edge loop going down this way. So again, Insert Edge Loop tool, just click right here until it lines up right about there. And now we can start to merge some of these verts. You can see the thicker line here, this isn't merged together, so I can select this vert. Again, I can go wireframe, maybe double check, and then just go to Edit Mesh and Merge to Center, and that should clean that up. And if I hit number 3, you can see everything's kind of welded together there now. Another way you can try is the multi-cut tool. If you hold the Control key and it goes all the way around, that means that there's no broken path along there. The only other way it would be broken is if there's a triangle. So that's kind of a nice little trick. All right, so I'm going to grab this edge now, and I'm going to extrude it out. Actually, I'm going to do both these same time. I'm going to select both of these edges, and then I'm just going to hit Control E and grab the blue arrow and drag out to this point, like so, and then hit Control E again and drag out to this point, right about there, and then Control E again and drag it out to right there. So you can see here I'm kind of lining up these different verts here. So I'm going to go into vertex mode, select these guys, and do that. Edit Mesh, Merge to Center. And that one did not look like it quite made it. So there's, looks like, oh, interesting. So the verts really went way off as I zoom in. So sometimes this happens, you're not quite sure like where things are lined up, and they're way off. So this guy, I'll just try and select one, move it down, you can kind of see it there. And it looks like Let's see here. Okay, so this guy I need to merge with that guy. So what I'm gonna do is grab this, the merge vertex tool, which is under, is it mesh tools? Yeah, target weld tool. This one's great. I'm gonna drag from here to here, and that kind of welds that together. And then I'm gonna drag there to there. Those two are welded together. And then drag from here to here, and now those are welded together. So now let's hit number 3, and everything's kind of welded together. Perfect. So let's try the multi-cut and see if it'll, yeah, now it goes all the way across everywhere. So you can see here, it's going all over. So at this point, what I would do now is bring maybe, well, let me add some, yeah, let me add some divisions up here. So I'll hit number 3, and I will use the multi-cut tool, and then I'll mirror the divisions I created and stuff. So this will be pretty good. So we'll hit 1. Let me see. That looks okay. As I go down here, though, you can see how lumpy this is. So definitely going to want to add an edge loop like right here, going across. That'll help. And then I'm going to add one here and here. And again, I'm just holding Control key to create essentially like the insert edge loop tool to create the path. And then I'm going to do one right here. Now if I do one in here, I might get that, yeah, it'll take away a little bit of that curve. Let's see how much of that curve will taken away when I hit number 3. It's still got a little bit of curve there. I think I'm okay with that. So I just don't want that curve to completely go away. And yeah, I think that looks good. So now we'll go back to object mode, and at this point we'll hit W, and you can see my pivot's way over there, so bad location. So I'm gonna unsolo this, and I should have centered my pivot before I started this. That would have helped, but it's okay. I can still work with this. I'm gonna center the pivot, and then I'm gonna hit the D key, and then I'm gonna hold down V to snap this pivot to the edge here, and then hit D again. So now when I mirror, I can use the object and mirror across in the Z positive. So if I go to mesh, mirror, and go to the options here, I can choose object Z, and instead of minus, go positive and hit apply, and just like that we got a nice piece of geometry here. And so the one thing, if I isolate it and click off, let's turn off wireframe unshade just to take a look. Yeah, this looks really good. So all the back faces are gone, but the bottom is completely sealed. We need that sealed quality. Now, the one thing that you'll notice is if I bring back the original mesh here, or the new one, is that this guy needs more room to pivot in here. You can see in here, if I rotate right now, it's going to pierce that geometry. So what I need to do is basically pull down the bottom more. So I'm going to do that next. So I'm going to hit number 1, and then I'm going to just select some faces here. So I'm going to select just the bottom ones, so I don't have to select any of the other ones. So I'm just holding the shift key, selecting these faces here, and then I want to go all the way to the edge here, and that should do it. And basically hit W and just start to pull down. Now you can see it's creating a kink here with this line right here, and I just have to adjust that. So I can do that a little bit later. But I think it was about that much room. Let's turn on this, or actually we have to unsolo first, and then turn this guy on just to see. I think that's enough clearance. Let me click on with object mode, click on this guy again, and hit E to rotate, and just take a look. See, so it's kind of hard to see because the other one's still in there, but I think that's enough clearance now. Alright, so we got enough clearance, so let's isolate that one more time and go back to face mode. I could go a tiny bit lower if I want, but I really do think that's enough clearance. So now to correct this edge, all I'm going to do is hit W and select this edge and double click right here to create this whole line here, and then do the same on this side. So click here, double click here, and then hit W and just kind of pull down to kind of relax those lines a little bit as they go down, so they go straight across. And then you can see right here you got the same issue. So on this one I'm just going to select this line and this line and just kind of pull it down a little bit. Doesn't have to go all the way, but something like that is okay. Or actually, let me undo that for a sec. Instead of the whole line, let me just grab that vert. So that vert and this vert. And this is just being a little nitpicky, but I just want to like relax the verts there so it's not being stressed. And then go back to object mode. Now when I hit number 3, now we got a nice piece here. Now in here, to help this, if we add some edge loops going straight across, this will help. So I'm going to double click my insert edge loop, add multiple edge loops, set it to 1, so I can add one in the middle there and add one in the middle there, and then go back to relative and close that out, click on the arrow, go back to object mode, and then hit number 3. And now that looks really good. So in the end here, I might have to adjust the height of this. I'm going to turn on wireframe on shade again. I might have to, bring this up a little bit or down a little bit, but I think this is pretty close to where the other one is. Yeah, it's just slightly, the other one is just slightly lower. So I could always adjust that later on, but I think this is a good spot. In fact, let's just maybe bring it down just a tiny bit right now. Go to vertex mode, and I can just literally drag across all these verts here. Hit W, hit number 4, make sure I got everything selected, and just kind of pull down. And I'm going to turn on the other one just to kind of as a reference to kind of have it close to the same spot. And that's about good. All right, turn that off. Go back to object mode. And there we go. So we got the first part done. The second part will be this guy. We will reconstruct this and attach it to this guy here. So we're going to save that for the next tutorial. I'm going to end it here because it took a long time to kind of finish up the little path there for that guy. So until next time, see you soon. Cheers.